This here is the XGIMI Horizon S Max. I'm not going to do too much intro here. I want to jump right into it. They sent this over for me to check out. This is a fantastic Halo level projector from a brand that makes Halo level projector. This here is a very nice looking projector, very, very discreet. Looks fantastic, but there's some really nice features of this here. It's a laser based projector, so you're going to get really crisp image even when you project on a very, very large canvas. So let's jump into the review here. I'll show you why this thing is actually really nice. Let's go over some of the specs here on the XGIMI website. So obviously they have lots of different projectors here, all kinds of good ones. I think I reviewed that one. No, the regular Horizon. I also had reviewed the Mogo. Very nice. But this video is not about that. This video is about the Horizon S Max. We'll do the US website just for USD, easy conversion for various viewers who may not know Canadian dollars. Anyways, you have IMAX enhanced setting, basically Dolby Vision, very nice. 3100 ISO lumens, meaning it is very bright. You'll see in this video, it's very bright, very, very bright. Part of that is that it's a bulb. Part of that is that it's a projector, but it's also going to be using laser projection. It's very bright. You'll see on a white base canvas, even in fairly bright environment, you're going to be able to see the screen. Okay, so here it is. We get our first look here. Looking quite nice, very, very aesthetic. Okay, so we're just going to pull that down manually. It does it on its own, but we'll just pull that down manually. We can see inside, that's what it's going to look like when it's set up. You have a swivel base, right? Nice swivel base, so that feels good. You get this nice kind of beige, like it's old school computers. Nowadays, people think that old school computers were beige and like yellowy gross, but that's just weathering. They don't, first of all, they were like this back in the day, and they use different plastics now, so this shouldn't weather. It looks nice though. I like that beige look. It's nice and discreet. You put it in a room, it's going to blend in a little bit more, look like part of the room itself. And that's one of the advantages here. I mean, you're going for something like this potentially for a clean setup, and you probably want to have something that's a little bit more aesthetic. On the back here, again, not too complicated. We do have the nice swivel base that way, so you get multiple swivels. Swivel around that way, swivel around that way, and it does hold, right? It's not hard to push, I would say, right? Like it's almost a one finger push, but it does hold its position afterwards as well. You don't want it to be, flopping around. That would be very bad. HDMI ARC, so you can hook up a sound bar. I do have a sound bar. I could hook up to that, but I'm going to actually do this without the sound bar. I mean, we can prove that it works, but I want to actually test, what's going on with this thing here. USB 1 and 2. Ventilation on the bottom there because it's a projector. See how noisy it gets. But overall, the package is quite clean. I like that actually quite a bit. We'll do a little bit of the setup. Mainly it's got this nice chilled vibe song in the background. Yeah, so it's going to be a Google TV setup. So it's going to be very straightforward. If you guys have used any Google device, setting this up will be extremely easy. So we'll come through here. There's no point you guys watching it, but generally speaking, I mean, it's going to be a Google TV setup. So it's going to be super easy. So we have the official stand hooked up. Now, want to see something cool? It's very nice and easy to swivel. As you can see that. It's firm, but it's easy. And look at how well it adjusts. Like it actually, the keystone and the actual like angle and as well as zoom is very, very fast and on the fly, right? Like we can go really move it around, kind of freak it out there a little bit, go like that, and then, put it back center, and there it goes, boom. So it's nice that the auto adjust is very quick because, I mean, yeah, you might just move it around. Once it's set up, usually you're going to leave it, but if you don't, move it into a room from the corner, you want to have it in front of you or something like that, you're going to go like this, you set it up. It's nice that it automatically corrects. Now, one thing I'm trying to show here as well, this is a very well lit room. It's, midday, it's full sunlight outside from that window. You can see up on the right there. I have a light shining on the screen, several, in fact, directly on the screen, and it's still very easy to see. That's what happens when you have a projector that's not just like a generic old school bulb, where you have much less brightness, it's going to be generally dimmer, and you're not using like a laser type technology, whereas here you do have that, and what's happening is you get considerably higher luminance. Luminance being like general brightness that you're looking at here. So, even though it's, you're going to lose some of the blacks if you have a light on. Actually, it's worse in camera. In person, it actually looks a little bit better. But you would never watch a show like this, I guess. You know, if you're getting into like pure movie mode, you wouldn't have a very well lit room like this that I'm in right now. You generally, you know, dim the lights a little bit. But, you know, even with this, you can still see it looks pretty good. Honestly, it looks pretty good. Just killing off one light, right? I still have that huge window open. At least to me, that is considered, like that's 100% usable now. May not show up so well on camera. Let's see if I can get a little better of an angle. Yeah, it's actually over dramatic. By the way, laser projectors are very hard to film. I think I need like a professional camera. I've tried it on my iPhone and I've tried it on my, this is a DJI camera. DJI cameras are, you know, it's like an actual camera. And then I have my iPhone as well. And both of them, they come out with this weird purple tone on camera. There's nothing I can do about that. I'm sorry, unfortunately, I don't have like, you know, a $15,000 professional camera. But rest assured, to me, you know, that purple hue that you see there on the camera is not there. That's just black. I'm gonna cut into some iPhone. Look at my iPhone, look how weird that looks. Look at that, it looks purple. Now what's happening here is it's picking up the laser, unfortunately. You know, we're using laser projection here and the cameras just freak out. So now we're gonna go through some of the settings, check out some of the screen quality and that. Now I'm actually holding my lapel mic in my hand and I'm gonna point it directly at the projectors. I want you to hear how quiet it is. If you can hear that, it's probably being over exaggerated by the actual microphone because it is very quiet. 33 dB. My house has an ambient noise of about 33 or 32.5. So they're, like if I go completely silent, it's as if there was maybe a vent in my house on in another room, like across the house. Maybe. It is so quiet. These guys here, XGIMI or XGIMI? I'm going to call them XGIMI. Of course you have. Oh, so here's the thing. Okay, so we're just going to go like this. This thing is going to be so hard to film on camera because it's a laser projector. It's just the way that it is. It's going to really struggle. So bring you guys in here. This is a white canvas background. White canvas background is going to improve vibrancy. This is super bright. This is like looking at my desktop you know, mini LED screen. My mini LED screen on my desktop is super bright, 1200 nits. These are measured in lumens, not nits, not exactly the same, but this is incredibly bright. The white is so unbelievably vibrant here, it almost hurts my eyes. So if you want very, very high brightness, you know, luminance on your projected screen here, this is a white canvas. White canvas is going to dramatically improve the, I guess, the overall brightness. You're going to get really, really bright imagery, but it does bring down the contrast slightly. So this, I mean, it's not black, but I mean, these are kind of grays, but there's a little bit of black, like there, for example. That looks, get out of here, guy, get out of here. That's a black over there. And it does have pretty good contrast. You can consider going with a slightly darker canvas. So rather than having a bright white, which is going to give you those incredible brights there, you know, very, very, very crisp whites, you could go with something that's slightly gray or even darker than that. And what's going to happen then is you might bring down these contrasts slightly. So later, I'm actually going to project on my wall, which is an off yellow. That should improve the contrast slightly. It might bring down the whites a tiny little bit because, you know, it's no longer a white canvas, but it will improve the contrast slightly. So we're going to start here. So what I'm seeing here, you know, vibrant reds, you know, we're not getting a washed out red tone here where it's kind of like a pink or an orange. It's just a nice red. Looks a little worse on camera, but that is what it is. Go through here, right? Vibrant, it's very bright. That's really bright, wow. Yeah, it's not freaking out. No, you can see those like ribbons. You know, I'm not seeing that. It's just the way the camera is. Looking very, very nice. So overall, it's looking fantastic. Very, very good. Let's do a little audio test though. Okay, so we're gonna come back here. I'm gonna leave the lights on for now just so you can kind of see what I'm doing, which is fine. Yeah, look at that. It comes out like purple. It's so weird. It's just so hard to record these projectors. That feeling when the technology behind the projection is so much more advanced than the actual camera that I'm using. And this is a camera. It's not like my iPhone. Oh, that was weird. Holy shit. Okay. It's gonna be loud. I'm gonna move away. It's too loud. I'm sitting right beside it. It's way too loud to sit right there. Sounds fantastic. That sounds really good. Wow. Anyway, it sounds fantastic. It gets really loud, about 90, 95 dB. This is a big room I'm in, pretty cavernous. This is like, what are we looking at here? 15 feet by 30 feet. It's a huge room, big cavernous, and it's loud. It fills the room. Now, most importantly for me, it has really good bass, and it's clear all the way from that bass all the way up to the high end. That's critical because you're gonna be using this for games and movies. Movies. When you're watching a movie, especially something like, say, an action movie, a Marvel movie or something like that, right? You're gonna, Transformers or something like that, you're gonna have explosions and booms and stuff blowing up and, you know, that kind of stuff. You're gonna have moments where there's, you know, deep resonance that really sets the mood in a movie or something. You wanna have bass, right? It makes you, actually brings you into the show, into the movie. So this thing having not only a ton of volume and being very clear from the low end all up to the high end with no rattle or tinniness, but also having that incredible boom on it is key. Now, it does have an E-Arc hookup, so I could hook up a soundbar, but I'm gonna be quite honest with you, there's no way my soundbar is gonna beat that. I have a Sony soundbar. It doesn't have like a dedicated sub built in. There's no way, it's not gonna touch this. There's no way, this is way better than my Sony soundbar. Not on every projector, but I've noticed on some of the laser projectors, we'll see when we go to the wall, you almost get like a color fringing around some of them. There might be a little bit of it potentially, but it's much less. I have recently reviewed another laser projector, and there was a little bit of like, I'd call it color halo around the outside of the text here on that laser projector. The Dual Light 2.0 is supposed to get rid of that, and I am not actually seeing that. We'll see when we get into, you know, not YouTube, we get into like a game or something, which is not, you know, like YouTube crushes everything, unfortunately. Okay, so I fired up a game here. It actually automatically went to high contrast mode. I heard it go, and it just kind of did it on its own, which is good because a lot of people want to play games with high contrast. That's nice. I'm gonna just check what it actually did here. Yeah, so if you click like that, see it turns off high contrast mode. All right, let's see if you can see that there. Watch. I don't know if the camera is going to pick it up. It's like I'm trying to record a light. There we go. Watch this. See that? There's a physical aperture in there. Don't turn up. That's the Xbox One. It's not an Xbox One. It's an Xbox Series. What's wrong with you? It's so bright. It's like, I feel like there's a image of me seared in, an outline of me seared into the wall behind me. Man, does that get bright. But you know, this mode here is on a white type canvas. So if you're gonna pick up this projector and then you're gonna get yourself a canvas, decide, you know, what am I gonna get here? In this case, I have a white canvas. It's gonna come out a little purple, again, because it's a laser projector, it freaks out. But then you're gonna say, you know, do I wanna go with, you know, white, gray, whatever. If you wanna have extreme vibrancy, brightness, bright. So we'll just play here for a moment. I guess we'll just watch the intro, whatever. And again, it's nice that it's 4K image and it's 60 FPS, right? So it's not a 4K 120 Hertz, but it's 4K 60. So when I'm playing games on my Series X, right, or my PS5 or PS5 Pro or PC, right, you're going to be potentially really benefiting from a 4K image because, you know, these consoles do output 4K, whether native or not is relevant. It will upscale, but you're going to be getting a 4K output here, and you're going to get a nice clean 60 FPS. So, I mean, that's the target for these consoles. And to be honest, most gaming PCs these days, when you're going with 4K, you're targeting 60 anyways. That is such a crisp, vibrant image there. It looks fantastic. Honestly, it looks really, really nice. So, you know, for watching movies, it's great, but I think that, you know, getting that 60 FPS 4K image for gaming is going to be quite nice. Looks like we're just going to freaking restart this game here, whatever. But what I want to see here is, you know, how this feels. And yeah, there's no latency whatsoever between the screen and me. Man, it just can't record it very well. Anyways, yeah, there's no latency on the screen at all between what I'm seeing here. It feels nice and smooth, you know, fantastic. We're getting, you know, console is able to output in this scene here, no problems getting 4K 60 whatsoever. So we're getting a nice crisp image here. It feels, you know, looks nice. We're getting a nice smooth with that natural 60, and it feels like there's no latency on my controller whatsoever. So I mean, this thing's going to be the type of device that gamers are going to lean towards. A lot of gamers, you know, they look at, you know, OLED TVs and that. There's a lot of negatives, right? Here, you know, you're really overcoming a lot of those negatives. Now, the real test, I mean, it's sweet. Let's go make a big ass TV. Okay, now we are in big ass TV mode. I'm actually gonna see how big this is. Let me just get a measuring tape and see how gigantic this is here. If I can even get this thing approximately. So we're gonna go approximately there. So that's that there. Yeah, so this is approximately 275 centimeters, about 106.5 inches, something like that. I could go slightly larger, but whatever, it's the idea here. So we're in big ass TV mode, real big ass TV mode here. It's just going to be the way that it is now. There's a little bit less vibrancy here because we're on a wall that is yellow instead of white. So you can notice that it's not as bright overall, but the contrast is much richer. So we're getting a darker contrast here because we don't have such a bright white that it has to kind of battle to essentially, get the, I guess, the contrast that it's trying to. Now I'm going to try to record this on my phone and the camera at the same time, just see if we can get, you see there's a little bit of a purple. I do not see that in real life, right? I'm just going to, sometimes the camera will stop freaking out because of the laser projector. Yeah, it's got a little bit of a purple tone. I don't see that in real life at all. So just so you know, there is no yellow tone or anything like that. It looks very natural. Now, what do we see here? I can actually read the font here, XGIMI. That's a tiny little pole on this 107 inch, a 270 centimeter screen here. It's massive. I can read this. That was nice and crisp. This text here looks pretty good. And again, we're dealing with YouTube crushing this image here. Let's go like that. Yeah, that's so crisp. Wow. Okay, so that is incredibly crisp there. That is a piece of paper that I'm holding. There's a 4K image here. 4K image, 107 inches or approximately 270 centimeters, something like that. That is incredibly crisp. Even this here, I can read that easily. Press down the real line, like that's a huge screen there over YouTube compression, right? That's one of the benefits of these laser projectors. They're so crisp. Like you can see you can see the hair follicles on my hand, right? This is going to be the same as if you get, I don't know, let's say a 32 inch 4K monitor right in front of you and you watch my video. This is what you're going to see. It's going to look exactly like this. It looks terrible on video, just so you know, it looks terrible. There's nothing we can do here. I can't help it, unfortunately. I wish I could give you my eyes so you can see what I see, but this looks incredible here. So anyways, this is fantastic. The text clarity at such a size is awesome. And what we're seeing here as well, because I'm using a slightly darker wall, let's see if I can use that. So here, that white area there, it still looks white to me. Like it's not maybe quite as white as the white canvas, which was like searing my eyeballs. It was so incredibly bright. But what we're also seeing here is those blacks look better, right? All these blacks, like you can see there, I'm actually blocking the light with the controller, right? And you can see the kind of black there on the mouse behind it. I can't tell the difference, maybe like a little bit. It's doing a very good job with, contrast here as a result. And it's going to actually tell us what we can do here. So yeah, we can do 4K. We can do Dolby, right? We can do Dolby Vision here, but we cannot do 120 hertz. So that's the only one limited here. It's a 4K 60, which is fantastic. I mean, I do have a 4K 120 hertz screen, TV, but I don't really benefit from it because, to be quite honest, my, it's an Xbox Series X. It doesn't usually hit 4K 120. It's not capable of doing that. Yeah, so here, this is a little different. So now what we've done is we went on this wall that's not quite white, right? So rather than using the white canvas, which gives you incredibly crisp whites, like a white, vibrant white on the actual white area here. So you do lose a little bit of that here. Still white, but it's just not quite as bright. It's not burning my skin. Basically, it's so white. But what we are also getting is slightly darker contrast in terms of the darks. And the brights are still looking white, but they're not going to, look like a flashbang anytime a white scene shows up. And man, does this ever look good. Right? I mean, there are still uses for a TV, like a television. Television still has a use, right? A monitor does still have a use. But I'm increasingly moving away from them as a primary media consumption device because this thing is huge, right? Like, what kind of money do I have to spend to get a 170-inch 4K television, right? Like you're going to pay a freaking fortune for something like that, honestly, probably as much or more as this projector straight up. You have to deal with the other limitations of a television as well. You don't have the dynamic size aspect of this, where here, I can change the screen size here and make this really, really large. So for gaming purposes, it is kind of nice that, the screen size fits to your space. So if you have a smaller room, yeah, use it 4K a little bit closer up like I had on the little canvas over there, right? Or maybe you have a big area like this and you're like, I want a larger area. You can adjust the game space, the viewing space to your area. You can also pick it up and take it with you. Are you going to take your 107-inch TV with you? Like pick up a 107-inch TV and take it with you to your buddy's house or take it with you to some event? I guess you could, but good luck, right? Whereas I can easily pick up my XGIMI little projector here, throw it in a box, take it with me, and now I get to my area and I'm set up, right? So that's good. Color's looking good here. Looking fantastic, right? It's actually able to overcome the fact there's a freaking light switch on the wall. I don't know if you can see that. I can see if I look for it, right? It looks great, no latency, massive screen. Color's looking rich, looking vibrant. It really does, yeah, for gaming on a TV is nice, right? Gaming on a monitor is nice. But when you get into something like this where it's just such a massive canvas, you're immersed in it, right? It's the same as, if I go from, using a Nintendo Switch, like a little handheld mode, which is cool, it's convenient, it's nice, and then all of a sudden throw it on TV, it's a game changer. It's a game changer because all of a sudden, you're actually really immersed in the gameplay there. So obviously for movie consumption, media consumption, a projector like this is going to be highly appealing. I foresee that a lot of people are going to be buying these for that purpose, right? Media consumption, movies, television, streaming, whatever, that's what they're going to use it for, obviously. But it's so crisp and the text looks so nice, you can use it for other things as well, such as gaming. And I think that more and more gamers are going to start moving towards projectors. I have a few people on my, in my community who, after watching my reviews, have actually started moving towards these laser projectors. Alrighty, so what do I think about the Horizon S Max here from XGIMI? I came into this expecting fantastic things because I've reviewed a couple of their products. I met with them at CES in 2024. Just randomly, I went to their display area and I was really impressed with their projectors. This is another one that's really blown me away here. XGIMI is top of the class. If you're not a projector person, you might just be like, I don't know that brand. But when it comes to projectors, they are top in class. Honestly, they're really, really up there. And this is one of their higher end projectors, right? Like they have some other ones as well, but this is, something that will be consumer affordable. You can go out there. It doesn't actually cost a fortune, yet it's a fantastic projector. So what do I think about it? Let's go over it. Visually, it's quite nice. Obviously it's really, really discreet. It kind of looks like an old speaker from, the 70s. It's got that retro future vibe to it. I like it quite a bit. It's got this kind of canvasy material here. This does drop down to unveil the actual projection unit there, so that's fantastic. Nice swivel on it. It feels nice and smooth, no issues there. That's fantastic as well. Everything's looking pretty good here overall. Then the actual coloration, everything's really, really nice. The stand, which is kind of off camera, you don't need it. As you can see, it's just set up on a table, but the stand is actually quite nice as well. Good pickup if you just want to have it move around a little bit more. You throw on a coffee table or something in front of you, but the stand is actually quite nice too. So I would actually recommend it. It's pretty good, honestly, pretty good. Now, what about the actual performance? We're not here to talk about how nice it looks. The performance is outstanding. So, just in general, the audio on this thing is awesome. It's very loud. It gets very, very, very loud. We're looking at 90 dB, potentially a little bit louder. Despite the fact that you maybe are cranking it all the way up to 90 dB, it's going to be very, very, very crisp. You're not getting a rattling kind of hollow tone between it whether it's low or whether it's high. There's no rattling, anything like that. It has a lot of clarity overall at the high end. Sounds crisp. You can hear all the sounds you want to hear. And then when you throw it down to that low end there's a ton of bass, And that's important because you're going to be using this for things like games and movies. Movies and games, you don't want to have some kind of washed out, crappy audio. You want to have boom. When you get into those scenes where there's explosions, things going on, engines revving, you want to have that low rumble to really bring you into the experience. This has it. Okay, that's cool. The actual interface of the device is fantastic overall. Going through Google TV, I like Google TV. I don't know if some people may not. They're like, oh, I like Google TV. I do. It's easy to use. It's fantastic. You're used to it, right? If you've used a Google device, there's no difference. So that's fantastic. The actual image quality now. It's not going to show up in this video. Unfortunately, it's really, really hard to record it just comes out like purple. I find laser projectors very hard to record. I might need like a professional camera or something, or some type of like polarized lens. I don't know, probably a polarized lens. But to record them looks like crap. But rest assured, in person, it looks incredible. On a white canvas, like when I started, it's so bright. That white vibrancy is just, it just sears your eyes, which you may think that sounds horrible, right? But yeah, if all the lights are off, it's going to be super bright. Maybe you do like that. But now a bright room, turn on the lights a little bit, get a little bit of like a natural room setting. That's one of the downsides of a projector versus a TV, right? TVs, unless you have direct light on them, which, you know, that's hard. But if you just have like a bright room in general, usually they have pretty comfortable viewing, right? Overall, whether it's dark in the room or light in the room, you have pretty good viewing. Here with a lot of projectors, when the room starts to get brighter and brighter and brighter, it becomes much harder to see the image. That's more of a case when you're looking at a bulb-based projector, old school projectors, right? When you get into a unit like this here, especially if you have a white canvas, it's bright. Even in the room here, when I have the sunlight coming in from the side there, a direct overhead light, a light over here, I consider this as a room. This is an ambient room. Room light here, no problems seeing it whatsoever, especially on that. That really does just pop off the screen there. So that's one of the advantages of a laser-based projector here with that much higher lumen, real practical brightness, not just like, yeah, the bulb that you're projecting on the thing is bright, whatever. No, it's not just that. The actual light that comes back at you off of the canvas, off of the wall, whatever you're projecting on, is very bright. That's the key here, right? I don't care how much brightness goes at the wall if it's going to diffuse out and get absorbed by it. These laser projectors, it comes back much brighter. Another advantage is it's crisp. Really crisp. You could see that obviously on the smaller canvas here, 50-ish inches, obviously it's going to be crisp. We got 4K image at 50 inches. It's very crisp. However, when I threw it up onto the large wall back there, we were looking at 107 inches, something like that. I can't remember, it was 230 centimeters? It was 107 inches, whatever it was. Massive screen. Despite that, even on YouTube, which does naturally crush down the image due to compression, when I went up close, I had like a small text on that from that huge viewing angle. When I went up close, it was still very crisp. It's fantastic. It looks awesome. So when you're watching movies, I mean, you do want to have clarity, right? Bulb-based projectors, you don't get that. You get a natural softening of the image. It can still be enjoyable, but you're not going to get that same type of clarity. Now, when you're playing games, it becomes even more important, right? Because you're playing games, there's going to be a lot of static text-based elements on the screen. You're going to be reading that, like the RPGs, that kind of stuff. You can have text after text after text after text. And if you don't have clarity, you're not going to be able to read it, especially on such a large canvas, where you're looking at approximately, 107 inches, huge screen, even larger potentially. You're going to want to be able to read that text without squinting, hurting your eyes, blurry. Awesome. Using an Xbox Series X, PS5, PS5 Pro, high-end PC, you're getting an actual 4K output. That's the XGIMI here, Horizon S Max. It's awesome. I mean, it's awesome, right? This is not my first laser projector. I'm 100% sold on these laser projectors, but you got to get something good. You got to get something with name brand behind it. XGIMI here in general is top of the class. Right? They're a name brand, high-end name brand. You're going to get the support that you want. You're going to get the name behind it as well. They're easy to buy, right? You can buy it off their website. You can buy it, like I can buy them off Best Buy Canada. You just go on there and buy them, right? That's not understated, the fact that you can do that. So that's the XGIMI S Horizon Max. I think it's fantastic. I think you guys should consider it. It's an outstanding device.